Trevor, in your role with Racing and Wagering WA, you must be tickled pink with the way the junior drivers are coming through.
Yes, it's something that I've been really proud of the way they've come through. Wes, it's just in the last, I would say, 6 months that there's been a surge of drivers just really mature and become good drivers.
It's not just on the track, but it's off the track as well.
Yep, it's a credit to them. They've all joined a sort of a allegiance, and they're good citizens. They're really good citizens. They enjoy each other's company, and they sort of go from their social life to the racetrack, and they really look after themselves good.
Bring back some fond memories, wouldn't
it? Sometimes there, Wes.
On the city track here on a Friday night, we're getting a regular amount of them plying their trade, which is great to see.
Yep, it's really good. Looking at it the other day, there's 15 regular concession drivers that drive at Gloucester Park, and 4 or 5 of those are females, which is another, I think, another dimension that's turned into racing at the moment. Before you had the 1 or 2, but now they're coming through pretty regular, and they hold their own, and they're good drivers.
And we're seeing that away from the metropolitan track as well. We're seeing it on the country circuit. A lot of females coming through.
Yeah, a lot of females coming through, Wes. There's 4 coming through on country tracks again at the moment, which are showing good form. I would say they're possibly about 6 to 12 months away, but they're right up to speed. Yeah.
I suppose from your point of view, there's so many things that would please you when you're seeing them going through the grades and coming up to a Friday night meeting, but group success would be obviously high on the agenda.
Yeah, that's something that I sort of press on to them, that one day they're going to try and aim for those sort of things rather than just drive a winner at Gloucester Park. They've got to start driving or aiming to be Group 1 drivers. And at this stage, there's been 3 concession drivers that have made the grade. Aidan DeCampo, I think he's driven 2. There's Robbie Williams and Tom Buchanan. So they're filtering through, and they are 3 good drivers as well.
They certainly are. Garrards, we see the sponsorship on the Rawa T-shirt here. They do a lot with their sponsorship for the Junior Driver Series.
The Garrards are really wonderful sponsors. They look after the juniors. They're a great force for trotting. They really are something that we probably lacked some years back, but now they're to the fore, and I really think that in this series they've done a great job for us as well. The series has been something that has brought comradeship between the drivers, and it's also, because it's a competition over 3 nights or 3 heats, they tally their points, and they feel a bit of pressure if they're getting up close, and they're learning to drive with that element of pressure, and I think that over the last 2 series it's improved them out of sight.
As I speak to you, we're still not finalised with the series, but Madison Brown, Michael Grantham certainly to the fore.
Yeah, a couple of drivers that, let's say Michael was a sensational young jockey, and for mine, I did mention it to him that he's got a real big task, because the cross code have never been successful, but I think Michael's done enough in the last 2 months to say that I think he's going to make me eat humble pie, which I'm happy to do. His driving's improved out of sight. Madison came through the trials really good. She looked like she was going to make it easy. Got out into the open company, sort of a little bit timid, and took her a little while to just settle down and work out that the intimidation wasn't there, and then she concentrated on driving, and her last 2 months has been fantastic.
It certainly has. She's come on in leaps and bounds. She's driven some magnificent races out there. I suppose another positive with someone like Madison is the size. You know, weight-wise, there wouldn't be much like Morgan Woodley.
Yep, I think now it's just one of those things, and the drivers, the male drivers, have got to be very conscious of their weight, because it does make an enormous difference. It would make more if they were in the real American carts, but it does make a difference. I remember sitting on a seat in the States, and the 10 drivers were there, and they discussed their waist line, and of course they were in inches over there, and no one had a bigger waist than 28 inches. So it's pretty important if you want speed.
It certainly is. Touching on youngsters, Michael Young. Pleasing to see Michael and Courtney in such great form up on the Goldfields last Friday night. and him, what did he steer home for?
Yeah, fancy. You can't believe this, but anyway, I'm going to say congratulations, Michael. He's done a great job. He's kept at it. The enigmatic Michael Young, as we would probably call him, even back to 6 months ago. But
It would have been 4 weeks back then.
oh, it would have been 4 weeks, not four winning drives. That would have been far too much. But he did tell me on the night he'd drive 2, and then he said he might drive 3. And then the 4th one I watched, and that was his best drive. So Michael's come a long way, and he and Courtney, it's fantastic. They put their own hard-earned in, and they're getting something for it.
And that's what you love to see, putting the money in, taking the horses there. The prize money's very good up there at the Crookshank Arena, and they got the results.
Oh yeah, they're really, if you look at it in perspective, that they're only young, and I'd say if they keep at it in probably 5 to 10 years' time, they'll be top trainers, because that's where we all started from, and that's where they started, and they're doing it properly.
Just touching on that, where you started, we go back many, many years, and obviously things would have changed immensely. And obviously harness racing back then was completely different. There's so much on offer these days, but it's so much easier for, and I think that's a fair comment, so much easier for junior drivers nowadays.
Yeah, it's easy now because they've got the concession and so forth, and you're guaranteed those. And
You wouldn't have had them back in your day?
oh no, there was no concession. You had to show that you could pick up a lot of manure, and then you get a drive. That was that was what got you there in those days. Or you were willing to work for nothing or bring your own lunch, one or the other, I can tell you. But we enjoyed it. It was good. It taught you a lot because in those days you only got thrown on a horse to steer it around, and it gave you the opportunity because there was no pressure, and you could watch what was going on. You could pick what horses were going good and what ones weren't going good, to the extent that when you finally got a drive, you knew which ones to follow, or you knew how to follow a good horse or get on its back or get away from a bad horse. So we were fortunate that driving those ordinary ones at the back of the field, it taught you how to drive.
I don't mean to reminisce, Tricky, but going back then, obviously with the bookmakers that were here and the money that was around, it would have been fun times, especially for a youngster coming through.
Oh, it was just magic days. You know, I would hope that they come back one day, but I think they're long gone. But it was magic. You know, there was money. If you could get this up, there was X amount, and it was just incredible money in those days, and it would keep you for a long time. It was no question. But even yourself, in those days, you sort of said to yourself, well, I've got to earn because I've got a wife and kids and so forth. So it made you pretty serious.
What's your fondest memory, or let's say your earliest memory of a great result?
I actually drove a horse for Ted Lyons, and Ted said to me, he said, "Tell me what you think of this horse." It was at Cunderdin, and it ran 4th, I think. And I said, "Ted, this horse could win in town. It's got a rough trip tonight." I said, if you got a draw in town. So it drew Good Alley in the city, and he come to me. He said, "There's £1,000." He said, "if you can win this." I think my rent at the time was £13 a week or something, paying off renting a house in Fremantle. And anyway, it arrived, and he come down and gave me the £1,000. I couldn't believe it.
What would a house have been worth in any area roughly then?
Well, to give you a guide, there was one I was looking at for £7,500. So that'll give you a guide. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
Great memories. Doing a great job with the juniors, and you've got to be very proud of what you're doing with them.
Yeah, I'm happy that they're listening and they're improving, and I'm just so happy for them that they're making a career for themselves, Wes.
Best of luck.
Good, matey. Thanks.